get down to playing the real games again, and I know opening game, Colleen, is
on
Thursday, this coming Thursday.
But they don't really get a break. I mean, I guess
I tell you,
Wednesday,
jet lag is brutal.
I know it is.
It can last a week, 10 days. It's 16 hours difference between here and Japan. So when you deal with that, you know, that's extreme. And then I have had those flights where you leave Japan and you actually arrive in LA earlier than when you left.
Exactly.
Because of that extreme time difference.
Well, we just have to hope that they do know how to manage their jet lag. I do know some people, not saying names, David Ono, suffers from jet lag pretty intensely when you're gone for a week or so.
Right.
When you come back, it is not easy, and I think they've been there about a week.
So I'm hearing from Katie, our producer, in her extensive research, that the Dodgers have given their players suggested sleep time so they can recover faster from potential jet lag, which is important because I have no idea how to handle it.
I would love to see this schedule. I'd love to see their advice.
It would be interesting.
It would be, because they're going to have the top doctors are going to be able to say, here's what you do. I always say knock on something, but I don't usually tend to get jet lag because I was told when I worked in the airlines, you have to not take a nap when you arrive somewhere. You have to force yourself to go to sleep at the time you're supposed to. Easier said than done. And then get on track for that time. Yeah. But then that defies logic because then on your way back, then you have to readjust. Whereas if you just didn't adjust to the sleep pattern of the place you landed to and just were opposite of everybody else, then you get on the plane and you fly back and you're still on track. But if they were on this flight, they had about a 9-hour flight, they would have been told, don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep. You're going to arrive around 7:38 o'clock
time to go to
night.
bed. Yeah.
You might be pulling a 24-hour, but don't go to sleep. You will help yourself. That is my absolutely not professional medical advice. But I self-diagnose myself to never fall asleep, go to bed around 8 or 9 o'clock if I possibly can, whenever. And I don't even go anywhere anymore. I pretty much. So I tell you to do. Yeah, I know. Funny, Chris. But I'm saying in general, jet lag is just
It's not true. It's not true, Colleen.
Exactly. I come to Glendale. So anyway, but it's fun to watch the ramp crews trying to get them out here. We know that they're going to have to be taken to a jetway. I'm assuming. This is a process. I mean, they're literally walking the plane in. They're pulling it in. Yeah, they're towing it into where they're going to go. But will they have a jetway? Will they be, right now it looks like they're not. They're just there you go. They're just going to
Yeah, this is going to be a quick move. So they're on the other side of, yeah, FBO is right there. This will be a quick transfer for them. They've got the team buses waiting. You've got the steps right there. Yeah. So hopefully in only a few more minutes, they'll be able to pull right up here, get the doors open, and at least let the players off. I was just taking another look at the schedule. I hope they did get sleep because you really only have Saturday to make up for it. And then they're back on the field Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 1 day of rest on Wednesday before the home opener on Thursday. So they really have a packed schedule coming up and really only about 24 hours to recover. So they're going to want to get back to the hotels and back to their homes as soon as possible. You can see the SUVs waiting, the team buses waiting.
Look at that.
And it should be a pretty expeditious exit transfer here, and they will probably split off into different directions once they board their respective vehicles there. But it looks like they're just waiting for a little room there before they pull all the way in and open those doors. Yeah, they're going to probably have to move that moving jetway. But I'm thinking about, as you're seeing some of the players right there on your right-hand side, I'm thinking, who we're not talking about. I wonder how Decoy did on this flight. Dogs, I bet that one has been, MVP on board this flight, just enjoying everybody's company because, everybody loves to have a dog on board. Well, we did report that he did bring his dog to Japan, right? Right. We saw the images of Decoy there. Okay. There we go. They're turning. It's not often, by the way. Sorry, I apologize. It's not often that you see the 747 being pulled into this FBO. It's certainly capable, but the wingspan of that 747 is so large that they have to move a little extra slowly. You can see the wing watchman there on either side of the wing, making sure that there's enough space to move through. It's a pretty narrow corridor here to pull all the way in to where they want to park it. They are used to moving much smaller jets into this space, usually business jets, Gulfstreams and that kind of thing. So a 747 is a little bit of a tight fit, certainly capable, but they have to move a little extra slowly as they make sure there's enough room without any kind of incidents. Obviously, lots of very expensive hardware on either side of this charter airplane. So you can see them now making the turn here, and probably within another couple of minutes here, finally they'll be able to pull those stairs up and then open that door.
Can you imagine if you're one of the folks on the plane, though? You've played a couple of games, you're tired.
Right.
I don't know if for folks who've been on international flights, I'm sure you could relate. You're like, get me off this plane. I don't care how nice the plane is.
Yeah,
you're pretty much done with it by the time you land.
Yeah, once you land. And you know, Chris, you and I, we're somewhat neighbors where we live. We live in the South Bay, and you drive Imperial Highway, and you can look to the right, you know, or to the left, whichever way you're driving on Imperial Highway. You can see this area where the 747 aircraft is coming in. There's a museum, an airplane museum that's right there, as well as all of those private Learjets and business jets. To see this big old jumbo jet coming in. Yeah. I'm going to be curious to see if I'm going to be able to see it on my drive home tonight, because
it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
You're right. Colleen, look at this. Rob, go ahead, widen out a little bit, pan over to the right, and show Sepulveda. You have a whole line of rush hour traffic here on Sepulveda. A ton of Dodger fans driving right down Sepulveda, getting off at the 105 there, or getting onto the 105. And little do they realize, most of them, that they are just a few feet away from their Los Angeles Dodgers. They are just, that plane is no more than 100 feet away from Sepulveda.
Yeah, and you know, they're looking at it going, what on earth? This is crazy. If you're not listening to the news and you do not know, because they don't have, it's not showing any Dodger logo. It would have been great if they could have put like a big, you know, magnetic sticker, but I bet it would have fallen off. I mean, I have no idea how they would do that. But anyway, it's exciting to see. I'll be excited to look at this. I'm sure a lot of families.
Backing it up now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a monstrous size of an aircraft.
Here comes the
moving jetway. It's going right there.
Yeah.
But they might have to. They might be able to do two moving jetways and have
front and back.
Yeah, front and back, or from both sides of the front, which you just never know.
That means it's going to be that much harder to spot Shohei.
I bet they're going to come out on the side that we're seeing, because they're only showing one, and I'll be curious to see how many people are on board, because I don't think every seat on this aircraft is taken. That's
probably not. In fact, it might be.
Yeah, they're probably traveling a bit light, I would imagine.
Yeah, and they have all that gear, and I mean, boy, a lot of these ramp members here very excited to see this team, and obviously, you can see law enforcement there also making sure that everything is safe.
So security moving into place here. I think they're only going to use that one staircase. At least it appears that they only have the one at the ready here. So we should see the whole team coming out of that second door right there. And I got to be honest, you know, you guys touched on it earlier, but this is a little bit nostalgic. This is one of the last few 747s. This is a 747-800, which is literally one of the largest passenger planes in the world, second to the A380. And this is one of the, the last remaining 747s in service. There's a whole bunch of them, but they're slowly being retired little by little, and you just don't see this very often anymore.
I know. I wish we did see. I wish somebody would, another air carrier would say, you know what, let's bring these back, because they really are good workhorses. But it seems as the time transitions, we see smaller planes. We see more people being put in smaller planes. Those seat sizes, they're smaller. Everybody's a little bit more cramped, and for efficiency, I think that's the one thing. Airlines are trying to save money, and they're not saving money on something like this where it's not fuel efficient and people have kind of a bit of luxury to it. So.
I always wanted to see what it was like to be on that second story.
Yeah, it's cool. It's quiet. That's the best part. That, I think, in my opinion, that was the best seat.
All right, this is going to be the more challenging part, probably, is trying to spot people and recognize them from how high are you, Chris? I mean, you're up there.
Yeah, we're up here at about 1,200 feet, something like that, 1,300 feet, and we've got, thankfully, our extreme vision here on Air 7. So this will be probably as close as we can get, Robbie, or is this? Yeah, we're probably at the end of our lens here. So we might be able to identify some of them. Certainly, Shohei stands above all the others. So just the pure size of Shohei will be quite obvious from our vantage point.
I'm trying to pull up the Dodger player roster just so I can familiarize myself, because, of course, I only know a few as well. The ones that, Mookie Betts, I don't think he played on.
Mookie's sick.
He didn't play.
He actually went home early, from what I understand. We don't know what his sickness was, but he didn't play in either game. Unfortunately, he did go to Japan, but he had to return early because I think he had some sort of a stomach ailment. But the others are all there, from what we understand. And you think about the amount of Dodgers that are in the dugout, there's not that many. So this looks like a cavernous plane to be sticking the team on, but more than likely, as Chris said, maybe family members are with them, executives might be with them, maybe a press corps is even with them. We don't know. The door's opening, Chris.
That's right. And I would imagine the players will most likely be some of the first few off the plane here. You can see security, the first ones up the staircase. And I imagine that this plane, as slowly as it took to taxi over here, will empty out much quicker, as of course everybody's anxious to get home at this hour.
Oh, yeah, they might have to deal with...
You've got Customs up there too, by the way. You've got Customs and Border Patrol. They've got to make their way on there and do their thing at first. So it's going to take a minute, but relatively speaking, it's not exactly what you and I would go through here at LAX.
Exactly. They're still going to get off really quickly compared to the normal person who is getting off a flight. But this will be great. They already have all their handlers there who, somebody is in charge to make sure they have all those papers, everything's been filled out properly. So
it probably begs us to mention this, but yes, we're almost acting like they won the championship again. But this is such a unique tour to be able to go to Japan and for the first time in history kick off the season in Japan. And of course, you add the Japanese players that are on this team that are all superstars, including, of course, Shohei Ohtani. This is a unique view at the impact that sports can have, and this being a Southern California franchise that is beloved, this is a historic moment.
Right, especially being world champions. I mean, this is going to be a big season.
Now I'm trying to see who. Now, Chris, can you explain the reason why you're not that close is because you have some airspace restrictions?
Yeah, right now we're being controlled by the LAX air traffic control tower, so we're going to hold this position right here. But fortunately, all things considered, we have a pretty decent view, so I'm happy about that. And we're not too high up, so we should be able to make him out once he gets off the plane. And some of the other ones might be a little recognizable as well. But it is a little bit tough. It's a little bit deceiving, when you see, when you're trying to pick out actual individual faces from this altitude. It can be a little tricky.
Well, we have a ground crew there. Is that what's going on, Katie? Or that's our LAX camera on the right-hand side. That's pushing in on the plane. And then, of course, on the left-hand side, that's Chris Christie in Air 7. Actually getting a look inside that plane.
Yeah.
So a couple of people got off, but I don't know if they were, I don't think they were players. But they did definitely recognize the fact that the media has arrived and the helicopter's above. And let's see what else is going on. Maybe there is a process here when it comes to customs, because they don't just let you in. You still have to go through the protocol.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those arm badges right there, those are definitely Customs and Border Patrol, the two on the right there. So a couple, I think, have already boarded the plane here. And this looks like the first group now about to get off here. It looked like one of the players a second ago, but here's a few more. Again, at this altitude, you're right. It's a little difficult to make heads or tails of the identities, but you can see they are starting to slowly filter off that aircraft.
Well, Shohei is so tall, I feel like he might be actually easier to spot.
He's the one you'll see for sure.
And he might have the dog, too, or have his wife and the dog, so that could be a giveaway.
Yeah,
that might have been Kike with the wave, the first one off. I'm not sure.
Maybe. Yell if you recognize anybody. It's a tough one. All right, a few people got off. I wonder if they go from seat to clear people, so they don't have to get up and wait in a line or anything.
Oh, I bet none of them are paying attention to, you can take your seatbelt off and open up the overhead bin. I bet you're dealing with teammates who they just had to sit not next to each other or separated from each other. They are going up. I mean, I'm sure they are just walking around. They are all waiting in line, but it's an interesting way that they're going to disembark this aircraft, because it's not normal. It's not the way we would normally, you single file line where you one row gets off. I don't know if any of them even have any kind of luggage overhead. They just might have their handbag. I don't know the configuration of this flight, but I am excited to see them. Once they start, you're just going to see just a whole wave of them just come right out. Here, I think this looks like, well, you see them with the bag, which would make you think that they were a tourist and getting some stuff overseas.
Looks like family members.
Yeah, it does.
That's probably the main focus of those Customs and Border Patrol agents. It's not exactly a thorough inspection as much as it is paperwork and making sure everybody declares whatever they brought back. So certainly a lot of the families have especially probably did a whole bunch of shopping while they were over there. And of course, anything organic or anything of value, of course, has to be declared. And that's probably what they're collecting on the plane. Because once they get to the bottom of the steps, they're going to be boarding those vehicles and they are off into the city. So they just want to make sure everybody that, make sure they have all their legal paperwork properly in order.
Yeah, and we're trying to focus in on everyone getting off the flight. I wish that they would have a sign and they just go, hold it up so, we don't want to make any mistakes on who we're seeing.
And even their passports were probably already checked on the Tokyo side, so that's probably why this is happening so quickly.
Yeah, a lot of them are wearing their sweatsuits too. It looks like Dodger issued sweatsuits.
That'd be fun swag to get as well. I'm thinking about when you do get off and you're in customs and you see the dogs and the beagles and you see when you're thinking, oh gosh, did I accidentally whatever? They stop at your bag and you're like, go ahead and look, and they're like, oh, there's nothing in your bag. You're thinking, how did they know? These animals are incredible. They can smell everything. So they're definitely making their way off, but it doesn't seem like they're in a big rush. Looks like somebody has a white shirt, like a white Dodgers shirt up in the front window there.
Is that a pilot there saying,
yeah, it looks
greeting
like
people as they leave? If I was a pilot, I would definitely be there.
Well, that is normal protocol too.
Yeah.
The pilots usually get out, especially when it's this kind of VIP group on board. They get out, they come out, and they talk to the crew. And it's a lot of pressure for the pilots, by the way. These 747s, they want it, and when they have this sort of impressive of a group on board, they want to make sure they grease that landing. They want it to be smooth. They know that they have these athletes. They know that they need to be on the top of their game as well. And a lot of people, you always thank the pilot because you're so thrilled that you safely landed. But then, some people who have flown a lot or who may have their pilot's license, then they kind of critique them. I'm sure the pilots were a little bit nervous about making sure that they really had a smooth landing.
Some more folks are
not
coming.
too nervous, hopefully.
No, not if they're flying that kind of aircraft, Chris, they have enough hours under them.
That's exactly right.
Is that Freddie?
Oh, there's a little one.
That's Freddie
does
Freeman
look
right
like
there with his
Freddie.
family.
Oh, we love him.
Yeah, good guy. And his son was in the news a lot last year.
Well, I think about the dance as well.
Yeah, here's some of the players coming off.
He had a carry-on bag. That's great. I think about how lightly the
Will Smith.
The good thing is we have Katie Carl, our producer, who's a big Dodger fan. She's laser focused on this door, and she spots everybody.
She has her binoculars in the control room.
I know. I'm thinking, we're looking at it through our desk glass up here, and so again, it's harder
all
for
of
me
us
to make out.
We're all glued
Yes,
onto
we
the
are.
television trying to recognize somebody.
But it's interesting that they stopped this group to say, okay.
Maybe they come in groups. Though.
I am curious
so
about.
maybe they clear each group
Yeah.
and then they leave and then the next group comes up.
I'm curious to see, just let's say Shohei Ohtani. I'm curious to see what did he bring back. He has everything he possibly wants, but I'm sure it's those keepsakes, those little desserts, those little things that you just love that are creature comforts. You have everything here too, but some things you just can't get here, and I bet those are the things that that they took with them and packed in their bags or at duty free.
In Japan, it's omiyage, the little gifts that you exchange with your friends and family when you come to visit or you come back from a trip, and maybe a lot of these folks have some of that.
I know that I think I read something that Shohei Ohtani's wife, I think her name is Mamiko Tanaka, I think she gave some little gifts of Hello Kitty things to some of the other families of the Dodgers. But, I mean, again, everybody.
It looked like Roki Sasaki, who might have gotten off the plane earlier. He pitched in the last game. He did pretty well.
Yeah.
Chris Taylor, is that him? Nick Fresso.
Looks like a very nice handbag.
A lot of shopping.
A lot of shopping. I'm looking at that. I'm thinking that looks like an expensive, something expensive is in that bag.
Trinan.
This is the part of the flight where it feels so good to feel that warm air, considering the cold weather they've been enduring all week, too, especially with all the snow and frigid temperatures in Japan. I know this is my favorite part of vacation, when you get back at LAX and you feel that warm air in your face.
Oh, absolutely, especially when it's so cold. Oh, and they're going to be in for a warm-up, too. It's going to be perfect weather for baseball.
They could defrost. It was snowing in Tokyo yesterday, so it's going to be a nice little change for them to come here and warm up. And there they are gathering. Oh, here we go. Some of the players hanging out. Oh, there's Yamamoto. I saw him on the left right over there. Just to the left there, if you push in, he's on his phone. That's Yamamoto. He's just right behind the pole now.
Oh, okay. It's always a hurry up and wait. It just doesn't matter. You see it happening here. You're so excited to get off that plane, and you still have to wait. But again, they're going to sleep. They're going to sleep easy once they do settle in, knowing that they did win the last two games. These first two games, you open up the season against the Cubs in Tokyo, and you win. It couldn't be more exciting.
Tommy Edman. There's a large group all getting off. I don't see a dog yet.
No. You know, they always talk about Shohei Ohtani being so nice.
He is.
Just so nice. That's all you ever hear. And so I can imagine him saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna, no sharp elbows here. I'm just gonna sit here and wait until everybody gets off and take my."
James Outman.
Okay. Here we go.
That's right. I'm looking over the Dodgers roster right now to see if there's anybody. Let me see. You know, Blake Snell is on the team now, that the San Diego Padres ace that we pulled over. We saw Freddie Freeman. Uh-oh. That white, oh man, the signal's going out. There's a whole bunch coming down now, but we can't, we're losing our signal of all things.
No.
Uh-oh. Hang in there. Was that wasn't Shohei in the white shirt, was it?
I could not tell.
It was hard to tell. We're getting some signal breakup. Mm-mm.
Certainly is. Kind of landed. How long ago, David, they land? About a half hour ago, a little over a half hour.
Yeah, about 32, 33 minutes ago. Yeah, I wonder why they have to go in groups like that, though.
I'm curious, but you know, again, you still have to wait for all their bags to get taken off. You see, then they don't.
Oh, maybe that has something to do with it too. Connected to the certain bags.
There's a baggage car that came around the other side to collect the baggage. I think they're doing the groups. It's almost like they're just matching up the documentation with the manifest. So they're going one by one, group by group. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's what's happening inside out of our view here. So they're kind of bundled into groups here, almost probably section by section or something like that, where they can kind of match up who is traveling with who and just kind of making sure everything's in order. Obviously, again, this is not the typical protocol for a normal commercial airliner. When you're flying private, it's a little bit different, and it varies situation by situation. But obviously, a plane this large, able to carry lots of lots of baggage and goodies and shopping and all the rest of it. So there's things to declare, like I said, and then they've got to make sure everything is matched up with each individual. So that's probably what you're seeing, or what you're not seeing in this shot here, but what's happening inside the plane.
All right, here's the next crew. Folks getting off. Are they getting little gifts as they leave the plane? Yep, they're all getting something.
I'm like, is it a piece of candy? Because the person puts something in their mouth, or a mint, or you never know what it is. But let's see.
Let's see. Katie, do you recognize him?
I was just going to say, Katie, we're waiting for you to give us a.
Okay. Is that?
I was thinking, is that a baby born? Is that a baby carrier?
Or is it a dog?
Or is it? Well, I don't know what. But first, I was thinking that's a little baby carrier.
Looks carrying something.
Yeah. But usually, except for men, when men carry the babies, women are always like holding them, like their arms are wrapped around. Well, now his arms are around it.
I'm always scared to carry that way in case you fall.
In case you fall.
Especially
I would not like the steps. That definitely
steps.
would make me nervous.
It gets a little scary. Be super careful.
Driving my car for a few months. I was so scared. I think it is a baby. I feel like I see a little foot dangling on the side of his thigh. So cute.
Dave Roberts? Yeah, that looks like Dave Roberts right there. Well done. Dave Roberts, by the way, born in Okinawa, Japan. His mother is Japanese. Stephen Nelson, he's the announcer, commentator.
It is a good.
All right.
Nicely.
Shohei's interpreter.
Okay.
According to Katie, our producer. There are the Dodgers. 2 games into the season. A long way to go. 160 more to go, plus a couple extra games as well. I'm starting to worry we missed Shohei.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Okay. Is today Clayton's Kershaw's birthday? Okay.
Wow. It was a nice birthday celebration on board that flight. And then he still gets a few more hours of birthday time.
I'm so glad that he's going to be here for another season. I know he's considering retirement, but he just seems to be such a steadying force and a Dodger legend.
Maybe that's why they have them in groups as well. As soon as they're off, then it's the next group so they don't go down so quickly and stumble upon each other. There's obviously steep steps. Here comes. No, not yet. I thought somebody else was coming.
No, Rob is.
Katie asked, "Is Rob Fukasaki on board?" And I don't believe he's part of this press.
He's on a commercial flight.
Yeah, him and his crew.
Well, Rob went with his family too.
I was wondering. If he took Maverick and Cheryl. What a great opportunity for them to see. So memorable. But I bet if Rob could, he would have taken this flight if he could have gotten a deal on this. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, that would have been cool to go with the team.
Right? That would have been super cool.
Wow, there are quite a few people on that plane.
A lot of people on this aircraft.
I mean, I guess if they have the room and they offer you an opportunity to go with the team.
I'm curious about how many people were actually on board. We have seen quite a few get off this flight.
Is that everybody? Oh.
We haven't seen.
Okay.
It does looks like.
What if that is everybody?
That looks like it is. It looks like it's everyone, doesn't it? When you start seeing the flight crew come off.
Yeah, the crew's getting off now.
They're done.
Well, we might need to call it a day. What do you think, Colleen?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've seen the Dodgers disembark that aircraft. They're waiting for their buses, or their Ubers, or their Escalades. They have there's a lot of vehicles out there in the waiting area to take them home to a very excited group of fans.
There is that outside chance that Shohei might be coming on a different plane at a different time.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Chris?
White backwards hat. So I've got a possible sighting here. If we go ahead and push in, look for the guy with the white backwards hat with a dog carrier.
Oh.
If you pan over to the right, a little over to the right, a man with a backwards cap by the SUVs with a dog carrier, that might be Shohei Ohtani. I think a little over to the right. Let's see if we can pick him out
right
here.
there?
It's a little difficult.
No, there's a backwards hat, but no.
No, it's not a white one though.
Yeah, they're starting to make their way onto these vehicles, so we might have missed them, but I think, yeah, it looks like that plane is pretty much empty at this point. So if Shohei was on this flight, which I presume he would have been, it's always possible he might have stayed back for the weekend and maybe showing up for spring training next week. It's a little unusual, but wouldn't be out of the question. But somebody may have seen him, so we'll see here. But yeah, that does look like that's going to wrap it up for this disembarkment here, and it looks like everybody's going to be on their way home here. In fact, some of the buses, I think, have already started departing, so it looks like these are the last remaining passengers on that plane.
As they wave goodbye.
Yeah.
All right. Well, a guilty pleasure here for us. We realize this is a lot to do about Game 2 in the regular season. But what the heck, it's a unique opportunity. It was great to welcome home the Dodgers. Chris, thanks for being with us. Colleen, good hearing about your exploits as a flight attendant.
Yes.
You taught us a lot.
Oh, did I? We do know that, David, you've never been on a 747.
I've never been on a 747, which I'm bummed about.
I know.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. We're going to see you tomorrow on Eyewitness News.